Who knew professional photography could be so draining? There Is a Monster comes to us from independent studio Gravitas Features and writer-director Mike Taylor, and centers around a man named Jack, played by Joey Collins, who is a professional photographer that has a knack for it. He's so good, he's able to have his own studio where he does business shots, people love him, clients come in and out, and he is doing well enough for himself that he's fortunately able to have a couple Utes. Billy, Don't Be a Hero, and Susie, and these two Utes are able to come together and help him out, because even though Jack is determined to continue to succeed, he's not a young man anymore. But that being said, he is full of piss and vinegar, and in the mornings he's just filled with vinegar. So he wants to do more than business shots, and he gets that chance when a big job falls right into his fucking lap, and he is absolutely determined to succeed. It's going to be great. It's going to be incredible. The business is going to go higher and higher. At least that was the intention. Jack, unfortunately, finds out that this is not all a bed of goddamn roses. The photography isn't crisp and coming with full-on clarity because there is something lurking in the shadows. Literally, a shadow that is following him around and lurking around the corners, and only he can see this shadow. And he must solve this mystery before his physical, mental, emotional, and very state of his soul are all history. There Is a Monster Tales, woohoo. So, yeah, that's about your lot right there. This is streaming on Tubi. It's an 80-minute movie that really does deal with something. It's an allegory for something that's revealed a little bit later on, and we find out why. And I will say that at least the message of the movie is proper, and I do appreciate what the filmmakers were trying to do. This obviously felt like a very personal project. However, this is an 80-minute movie with maybe 25 minutes worth of material. This really should have just been a short film and maybe part of an anthology, and I think it would have played a whole lot better. Because there were a lot of shots that were stretched out. There were some scenes that, to me, just felt like they were almost rehashes of others. We do see Joey Collins at least play, the decaying state of Jack pretty well, I will say that. But as far as any meat on the goddamn bones of the movie, no, there's not really all that much. I appreciate the message it was trying to send, and it certainly does, bring light to something that people do go through, and you would do at least get to see a monster, and actually it really is a monster. But yeah, as far as a horror movie, as far as even something suspenseful, not necessarily. I've seen way fucking worse than this, and there were obvious budgetary constraints. But yeah, not necessarily all that great. I do want to shout out the one that plays his wife, Carol. Anna O'Rourke, she is quite attractive. And Mary Rose Howley plays Susie, who I think has a bright future as far as being in horror and stuff like that. It is what it is. It has a small cast. There's a couple of people, from their respective lives that pop in and out to add a little bit of story. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not necessarily great. It's not the worst I've seen, but it is certainly, it's overall just bland and boring, even with the thing that they reveal at the end, and it takes way too long to get to it where you're like, okay, yeah, that means something, but really? Anyway, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So yeah, it's followed by this entity, this shadow-like entity, and he starts having issues where his body is starting to have issues on, one side, on his right side. And yeah, he's having some issues. Well, actually, he's basically just dealing with a whole lot, and he's starting to have physical limitations. His face is starting to be paralyzed and everything. It's ALS. That's what it is. That's what basically gets revealed as the cause of the whole thing. It takes a while to get there, and actually, now that you think about it, unless they were going to go the supernatural route, and it was something that he did in his past, like he killed somebody and that spirit was haunting him. No, this is actually the specter of physical and mental torture following somebody. And yes, that actually can play out well in a movie. I just don't think that this was terribly interesting, even with the message at the end. That being said, it was okay once, we found out what the deal was. But to get there, yeah, this should have been a short film. That's just all I gotta say right there. Again, Joey Collins does fine, with the fact that, like I told you, there was a monster. That's what he says at the end. And you can see the toll that it would take on the wife and anybody else, like, co-workers and stuff like that. It would obviously be very draining. But yeah, it doesn't really deviate from its path, and it kind of just exists. But yeah, ALS is a goddamn bitch. So many people go through it, and it's terrible that anybody would have to go through that. But yeah, as far as a movie, there's nothing really to it beyond the message at the end. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it an F. I'm sorry. I just didn't. I didn't really enjoy this. So there is one scene a little bit like right near the end where he's trying to beat up this specter. He gets like one little last burst of energy and he beats up this shadowy entity. But it's him trying to push back against the inevitable. So yeah, there you go. So F, I'm sorry. It's just, as a movie, it wasn't good. As a message, it was fine. So agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.